What is up, boys and girls? This is OB aka 3X back on the mic once again with weekly upload update number 14. And yeah, let's get right into this one here. I've got 4 brand spanking new diamonds to show off to you guys. And the first one goes by the name of Jaleira Taylor, as you can see here. And this particular character is one that has a very, very interesting function, or had one at one point, and I'm probably going to continue on that kind of story arc as far as she goes. For those of you who are familiar with the EFED era, as it is that I usually call it, of the XWA, back before I actually devoted a channel to doing videos of shows when it was just a basic tech EFED, where we ran matches with the game to play the promos out and everything like that. Jaleira Taylor here was a character that I had created in conjunction with someone else to be kind of a roster member of the XWA Diamond Division, as well as a romantic interest to one of the male characters, which was going to be kind of a story arc in itself, especially considering who that character was. And it kind of completely blew my mind when the idea came up to me. When the person gave me the idea, that I decided, I have to elaborate that on that myself here in the YouTube era, somehow, some way, just as kind of an homage to the idea that never actually took shape, because unfortunately I had to close down the EFED before it could actually come into fruition due to financial reasons and stuff like that. But the character in question that she is romantically involved with is Magnus von Schwartz. Yes, as in old, bald German Magnus von Schwartz, having relations with an obviously younger woman who is obviously also not German, but very much mixed race. And yeah, you kind of get the idea here. You kind of get the idea of where this whole story arc was going. And like I said, it's definitely something that I want to mess around with. And I really, really wish they had a story designer in this game. That way I could really do some more cinematic type flair with it, because it's really probably the most interesting story arc that I have come up with, or come up with deciding on putting into the show, I should say. It kind of even goes over the stuff that I have planned with the Riot Squad and the Rogues that you saw last week, and Katana, all the rest of this stuff that's going on. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that whole idea and that prospect of it. To go into the design cues for the attire, I intentionally wanted to make it a more brighter look, because I noticed that I'm using a whole lot of black on a lot of attires, so I kind of went with more of a rainbow-ish look. This is actually some assets. The graphic on the top and the tights is something that I had created, or modified, I should say, in Photoshop. It's not using a style, it's just basically a graphic taken from the internet that I extracted using blending options in Photoshop to make it into a transparent ping file that I could use seamlessly in any attire of any color. And I messed around with it on black. It looks good on black, but like I said, I wanted to kind of make this attire a bit more brighter than others that I have made for other characters, so hence she is wearing white with colors and different trims and things of that nature. And it looks good. It's definitely different from the rest of the attires that I have made over the course of the past couple of weeks, and I like how it stands out. And then we'll take a look at the alternate attire, which is the same clothing parts, mostly, at least in terms of the top, the trunks and the kick pads, but we went with the single arm sleeve hand wrap combination, and then a bare arm on the left side, just to kind of make things a little different, pretty much. Not too much effort into this attire, but just on the assets used, it's still pretty slick looking. Again, this is another design that I pulled off of the internet. It's a fractal design, and I've actually used a lot of those, particularly in last year's game for female attires, before I found the gold mine that is Photoshop styles that have now become a predominant part of my CAWS attire designs in terms of logo work and such like that. I want to actually mess around with using them for assets aside from text and stuff like that, like maybe trims on tights and namely tops, especially for female attires. But the only thing that's stopping me from doing that is, of course, the fact that you can only outstretch any imported logos but so far before they start to fade. And the stretch area is not very forgiving. I mean, on tops it's okay, but especially on the legs, it doesn't go too far out before it just completely crops off and blurs an entire design out, which completely defeats the purpose of even using them on legs, which I've said before is the exact same reason why I only use short tights and trunks for any of my CAWS, really, and have not used any long tights or pants with logos on them, because you can't really cover anything with them. You have to use multiples of that same logo just to be able to cover the area, which is a pain in the ass, and not something that I really was interested in doing a whole great deal. So we just kind of simplify things there. Another bit of kind of mundane information here. Well, not really mundane, because, you know, the characters come from somewhere, and every inspiration that I have for every character that I make comes from either one place or a bunch of places. And Jaleira here is actually a shining example of that. It's kind of her name itself is kind of a play off of I guess you could kind of say an homage, so to speak, to some art or storytelling, I should say, that I am aware of, that kind of gives off the fact of, you know, exactly where it is that I come up with some of my ideas. Because the first name, Jaleira, which is spelled Jalleira, was the actual first name to a character in a series of erotic art books, comics, if you will, whatever you want to call them, called Girl, which was the other, I guess, nickname for the character, which was drawn by an artist by the name of Kevin J. Taylor. And yeah, I can only really show you the cover for this stuff. You're gonna have to go and take a look at the work itself, and it is pretty, how you say, provocative, pretty much. I mean, there is some kind of story going on in there too, but you're not really reading that kind of stuff for story, are you? No, you're not. And yeah, you know, I will admit to this. It's a known fact that I've actually used, glamour models, nude models, and even adult film actresses as, at least appearance-wise, markers and inspirations for certain characters that I have created. That, of course, has been kind of slimmed down a bit as we get into this next generation, and I had the ability to make more realistic looking CAWS thanks to the photo importer, face designer thingy and such like that. But you've pretty much seen some of the characters that I've made, and if you followed me for a long time, then you know that that's always been one of my design cues as far as creating female characters in particular, and this here is no exception. So yeah, I just gave you some reference to some other material there that is not necessarily well, I guess you could use it for reference purposes if you wanted to, but you're probably gonna go look at it for other purposes aside from reference. And yeah, if that's the case, then you're welcome. Anyway, yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on with this one here, and I'm looking forward to elaborating a bit on her story, and I really am I'm hoping that I'm able to at least get something going as far as that goes, because yeah, it's pretty juicy. It's pretty juicy. Next up on the list is a returning alumni call from way back when I first started making creative wrestlers back in like 2005, 2006. So I think it would be safe to officially decree her as a legend core, right in the same category as those like Riot and Sarah Warfield, Tadako, and Yoshi Togo. Those are my longest running creations. Even though I have not actually made her in a long time, and this is her return, she still would be considered to be a legend core. And her name is Talena Nkrumah. Back when I first created her, she was simply known as the warrior princess Talena, and obviously she is no longer a princess, but is in fact the leader of her unspoken nation that I never actually came up with a name of, but I'm probably going to have to at some point. But it's pretty much the same deal as, say, Wakanda in the Marvel universe, where it exists in this universe, but it's not actually a country in Africa. But yeah, it's there here, so you just gotta spend some form of disbelief in the fact of its existence. And obviously she has been gone from professional wrestling for a very long time for the reasons of having to undertake the leadership role that was bestowed on her. I won't say bestowed, because obviously if she's a queen, then that means there's no king, because the former king, her father, passed on, and now she had to do her thing. But things are pretty much under control now and warrants her return to her hobby, I guess you could say, that being professional wrestling. And she finds herself back, well, not back, she never was in the Diamond Division, it wasn't even in XWA when I first made her, but she's here, and now she will be taking on some new challenges, and those challenges will be also taking her on. And boy, is she going to be a challenge, because she is a very, very unique entity within the Diamond Division. Like I said, not only, I said already that she is a legend status core, but not only is she a legend status core, but she is, in actuality, the highest rated overall CAW amongst the Diamond Division as far as females go. She's got an even higher rating than Jamie Fury and Haley Jonas, Sarah Warfield, Angel Andrews, Tadako Togo, etc., etc. And the reason why is just simply because the fact that she is a physical specimen. She is as strong as Fury and Tamara, Arlene Driver, Sarah Warfield, but on top of that, she is also one of the fastest competitors and rivals that of Lorena and Marisol Cardinal, who are the fastest CAWs that I have made as far as the females go as well. So she's got power and speed, which is definitely a dangerous combination to say the least. But that was the thing with her when I had first made her. The fact that she was as fast as she was strong. And so I decided I wanted to carry that over and have her serve the purpose of being kind of a fly in the ointment, because, you know, you take convention and you completely throw it out of the window when you talk about a character like this with that type of ability. And I've put her into some matches against different other female CAWs, and let's just say she's very effective, and go with that. Anyway, as far as the design cues for the attire goes, I think you can pretty much make out the theme here, that being the white tiger deal. Even though white tigers are not indigenous to Africa, they're more of an Asian animal, as in found more in Asian countries. Once again, it's just suspending disbelief, because I wanted to do something with a white tiger design, because that happens to be one of my favorite shaders in Destiny. And yeah, you know, that's just another example of me having an influence come from somewhere else into the design of a character in this game. And I may probably just make a regular orange and black tiger stripe attire for the second attire, but at this point we'll stick with the white tiger design and just going with that. The armbands and the knee pads and the kick pads obviously are those belonging to Asuka, who also had the tiger stripe going on with her attire. So that made it a little easier for me to formulate a look for her, because that was kind of a challenge at the present moment, or at the first point of me making or deciding to recreate the CAW, because I wanted to make it look kind of like how she looked back in the day, but not exactly that same way. So first and foremost is the fact that certain effects I couldn't even do, and then it was just a matter of finding the right pieces and what I wanted to do with them. Like the tattoos, for example, which is the same element used multiple times. It's kind of like a family marking, I guess you could say. That's what I'll say. That would be my, you know, it's my call. I can make my own ideas for it. But yeah, family marking. There you go. There you go. And the design, as is the case with a lot of the other designs that I've made recently, is another piece from the artist DZO Olivier, which obviously you've seen the work of on my cards before in the form of Ethan Ulrich, Vasily Rasputin, and now she is the trifecta, and probably not going to be the last. So yeah, get ready for that. Anyway, the back, the shoulders, and then on the outer thighs of her legs is where I wanted to put them. They're kind of like I said, family markings, war paint, war markings, whatever it is that you want to call it. That's what it is. Anyway, and like I said, as far as her abilities go, she's got power and speed, so it'll be definitely a mixture of both going on in terms of her moveset. And as far as the face goes, I think it can be pretty obvious just by looking that this is the face of the supermodel Naomi Campbell, or former supermodel. I don't actually know if she's still active in the modeling business, but yeah, you know, I had to find a good looking face. I wanted it to be a darker skinned face because obviously she is of African descent, so it couldn't be some light skinned chick. So we went with Naomi Campbell, and the face morph came out pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. And it just all worked out very, very well. I decided I wanted to go with a low shaven haircut. I was kind of thinking of making her bald because, well, that actually came from the idea of the bodyguard chick that was in Captain America Civil War, the one that, you know, threatened to flatten Black Widow if she didn't get out of the way.
It's just a matter of time. Our satellites are running facial, biometric, and behavioral pattern scans.
Move, or you will be moved.
As entertaining as that would be.
You really think you can find him?
That chick was tall and well built, and she didn't have hair. But then after closely looking, she did have some going on, but it was just kind of like really, really low cut. And in actuality, you know, that is actually the bodyguards of the Wakandan royalty. And that's kind of saying something because obviously Prince T'Challa, or King T'Challa now, can kick a lot of ass himself. He doesn't really need bodyguards. But, you know, I guess excess is a good thing when you're rich and powerful. So, yeah, anyway. Kind of going off on a tangent there, but yeah, she is definitely one of the more, I guess you could say, unique characters that I have made this year, or any year, really. Kind of like pushing out boundaries for my designs and for characters and storylines, and yeah. It's just a continuation of that, and we're just going to see how it is that she does, because she looks good, she fights good, and where her place is going to be within the Diamond Division remains to be seen, but I kind of like her chances, just based on her stats on paper. Next up is the returning for the 2017 season version of Jillian Preiede, who at one point was one half of a all-female tag team that I had created known as Les Canadiennes, who this year is now once again one half of a all-female tag team that I created named Les Canadiennes. Yes, so she's a package deal, and yeah, I've recreated her tag team partner, who you will see next, but she kind of ran solo last year. The reason being, A, I was too lazy to recreate her tag team partner, and B, I kind of really had some difficulty pinpointing the face for her partner's appearance, but we'll get into that once I show you the final result for her partner's appearance. As far as the design for the attires, however, now bear in mind they are a tag team, so their attires are going to be identical, with obviously the difference being the name trim on the top and tights, as you can see there. But basically, all assets used on these attires are stuff that was pulled from Community Creations. It's one of those examples of finding good-looking graphics the easy way that is actually pretty good, and I'm pretty confident will actually be recreated or re-uploaded in the next version of the game. Now, in terms of logos, it's easy to do. It's when we're talking about tattoos, that being stuff that isn't going to be interchangeable from one game to the next, is where I recommend that you find your own design assets and use those as opposed to downloading them off of community creations, because those are going to stay on the character forever, whereas these are a bit more expendable here. We got the Made in Canada seal there in English and French, and that little, well, not little, but the Canadian flag tear design that I actually used on Drake Manning last year on his design for, I think it was his, I forgot which tires it was, but I used that same stuff on him, and obviously not this year, but it looks good on these ladies here, I'll say that much. And we got it on the top as well, and yeah, it's another example of one of those quick, athletic looking, sleek, sporty ring gears. And obviously I've told you exactly the reason why I only use certain pieces for the reason of limitations as far as logos go. So it's pretty simplistic but effective design going on here. And the same thing goes with the secondary attire, which is just your basic color swap, pretty much. The only differentiation is the seal that I used for the second attire, which says Made in Canada 100%. It's different, but it is the same, sort of. And that was a little bit too close on the ass there. Even though you probably wouldn't mind looking at that up close, wouldn't you? Yeah, you know you would. Don't even lie. And not much else to say as far as the attire goes, because you pretty much see the theme going on here, and it's, like I said, 100% identical on her partner's look as well. And yeah, the reason why I decided I wanted to bring them back together is, well, basically the Diamond Division needs tag teams, and I didn't want to have it being a thing of having to put together tag teams just for the sake of having tag teams. You know, I wanted to have at least one or two that are actually teams, as in they've worked together and they're not joining forces, so to speak. Obviously, you've got the factions, which are a completely different story altogether. They're always going to team up. But I didn't have a dedicated tag team until I came up with these two. And I figured it only made sense to bring them back because I need somebody to take those freaking Diamond Tag Team titles off of Jamie Fury and Tadako Togo. And I'm not all the way sure if these ladies can do it, but you know, the more people that are out there is the more opportunities that can come up. And I still haven't figured out how I'm going to handle that whole situation with those belts, because obviously Fury and Tadako are not what you would call tough people to defeat. Not easy people to defeat. Excuse me. They're not tough outs, basically. So whoever it is that defeats them for those belts have to be on point and on their game. And maybe, just maybe, these two Canadian ladies will be the ones to answer the call and be up to that challenge. Only time will tell. But there will be plenty of battles for them to have in between then, and we're just going to have to see how that goes. Now, as far as movesets goes, I'm not going to lie, I was a little lazy here on the fact that I basically copied over Drake Manning's moveset and just changed a couple of things, and that's Jillian's moveset. You know, it's just one of those things where I wanted to get things done really quickly, and I will obviously tweak out moves and adjust things accordingly to befit the CAWS style, so that it's not complete carbon copy. But I did say this last week, I do use certain CAWS moves as the foundation for other CAWS movesets. This is just one of those situations where it wasn't because of the link or relationship between those characters. It was just pure laziness on my part, and I'm not gonna lie. I will own up to that, and yeah, you would hardly tell the difference yourself anyway. So it's all good, people. It's all good. And last for this week is Jillian's longtime partner, friend, and running buddy, Esther Laurant, who spent all of last season basically out with a knee injury. That is my kayfabe excuse for being too lazy to recreate her last year. But she's back, and obviously she has done a lot of work in the gym, not just leg days. Oh no, there's definitely a whole lot of muscle going on there compared to when it is that she was last a part of the XWA's Diamond Division roster. And the reason I did that, or made that choice, is because I wanted to make them kind of the conventional tag team type of setup, where one's a little faster and more technical, whereas the other one is a wee bit more on the stronger side of things. But they still are pretty balanced as far as their movesets goes and their overall wrestling style. Esther's moveset is not a carbon copy of Jillian's, obviously, because that would be a little too lazy. You can't have two CAWS that have movesets that are based off of one. That's just really low effort right there. Even though I could probably get away with it, it's just, you know, the principle. I just couldn't do that. Anyway, as far as the face goes, like I had said a bit earlier, that was one of the real challenges and one of the real reasons why I decided to kind of put her on the shelf in 2016. Because when I had originally thought of the idea of the character Esther Laurent, the base for her appearance was a fitness model and a former UFC ring girl that goes by the name of Edith LaBelle, who I will have pictures obviously on the side for you to go over, because hot damn. But yeah, I couldn't get the face to look right in last year's version of the game. Like the face morphing was definitely not as crisp and detailed as it was in the previous version of the game, and I just got an invite right on the top of my screen. Sorry, I can't actually play because I'm filming a video here. Yeah, I'm not cutting that out. I should have probably turned off notifications before I started filming. But anyway, I managed to make that work this year with a little bit of help from Photoshop in terms of manipulating a good-looking front face pic, which was very, very difficult to find, of Miss LaBelle. And this is the end result. It came off very, very well, if I do say so myself. And yeah, she is actually one of the well, I'm not gonna say she looked good. She looks really good. And as far as the face goes, the body, everything just worked out really, really well, to the point where I'm kind of second guessing myself as to why it is that I decided I didn't want to recreate her in the first place, because then I wouldn't have this problem that I have right now with the Diamond Tag Team Championships if I actually had them last year and could maybe have put the titles on them last year, as opposed to having to try to figure out how to do it this year. But now we have more possibilities, so it works out, because you have them you have the team of Tamara and Yuriko Tanaka, who I have not yet figured out what I'm going to call them yet, but I will by the time the next episode of Girl Fight comes along. And you've got the factions, and I can there's options now. I have options that I didn't have when I was doing the shows last year, so it works out. It works out. She has found herself a place, a permanent place and purpose within the Diamond Division's roster. And as I said already, it's basically a identical ring gear to Jillian's because, you know, tag teams, camaraderie, and unity. So obviously it would make sense for them to have the same attire, have that kind of team thing going there. So pretty much the same exact assets. The only difference, like I said before, is the name, and obviously it's a color swap. And other than that, it's basically the same as Jillian's, and yeah, you know, they're as cliche of a tag team as you can possibly get, and that just makes things that much more interesting as far as is where I can go and use them and potentially have them be the foundation for the Diamond Tag Division. I say potentially because at this present moment I still don't know how it is that I'm exactly going to go about with that, which is also a big reason why you have not actually seen Jamie Fury or Tadako Togo on a show as of yet, but you will, because I know those are also two very popular creations of mine, and I can't have them on the shelf too long. But we'll just have to see how that goes. As far as these ladies go, however, they will have a strong presence within the tag team picture of the Diamond Division. It's just a matter of how it is that I pull that off. But you'll have them for yourself to be able to do with whatever it is that you choose to do so long as you don't, like break them up or anything like that, because you can't have another breaking up tag team. That happens too much of professional wrestling, man. It makes no sense. And so your uploads for this week are going to be the same four ladies that you've already seen in this video already. That being Jaleira Taylor, Jillian Preiede, Esther Laurant, and Talena Nkrumah. The four CAWS from last week's video, Marco Juventus, Neil Sawada, Vasily Rasputin, and Sydney Striker are also still available for downloads. I have not taken them down and probably won't until possibly next week, who knows. And then you can already also see who else is still available for download. Make sure you grab them, because you never know when they might be changed or flipped around, because I still have people who are requesting CAWS that they have missed, and that's probably going to be what I will do next week. So if you have not gotten any of the characters that you see on your screen yet, do so within the next 7 days, because they might not be there by the time the next video rolls around. And speaking of the next video rolling around, I can say officially that weekly upload update number 15, the next video that will be happening, assuming next week, will actually be the final official weekly upload update video for this 2017 season. And what that's going to mean basically is that I will still be doing these videos, but they will be more of actual update style videos. That being, if I change an attire around or something of that nature, I will feature that in those videos. And also any other creations that I make, such as arenas, because I still have not actually completed all of the arenas I want to use for this season. So that will be featured as well in future videos. they just might not be in as high of a volume as they have been over the course of these last 13 or 14 weeks, give or take, considering the fact that there have been off weeks that I have had. But they will still be coming. And I will be focusing a wee bit more on finishing off shows as opposed to working on CAWS, since I'm almost done with the entire roster. That means I can go full blast into the shows that I have planned on doing and the stories I have planned on telling. Those have already began. It's just a matter of, doing the editing and all the rest of that special goodness before they are eventually uploaded to YouTube for your enjoyment. So that's a pretty quick synopsis of what is to come over the course of the next couple of weeks and for the foreseeable future here on the 3X Gaming channel. And with that said, we will be putting this one to a close. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit that like button if you've enjoyed or found this entertaining. And if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. We just hit 1,600 subscribers on the channel, which is pretty freaking cool because it was only a couple of weeks ago that I put up my thank you video for 1,500, and already another 100 of you have decided that you wanted to ride along with me here. So that is very, very cool and humbling, and I thank you for that. And of course, if you are not new to the channel and not have already done this before, shame on you. Hit that bell button that's sitting right next to the subscribe button to receive notifications of whenever a new video is posted to this channel, so you will be one of the first to watch them. And with that, we are out of here. Until next time, this of course is Obi, aka 3X, signing off. See ya!